Well, well, well. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Krown's magical winter wonderland cave derp.
Hey, what was that last part? We didn't talk about that. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. This is the last day of Winter Wonderland for myself. It's going to be back to business as usual tomorrow for Tuesday. But today, we do have some very important things to be talking about. Want to follow up on necessary short-term and long-term time frame analysis. But again, a reminder that I am currently away from my main battle station and all my usual tools, which means that, going to have to be a bit patient as unfortunately I'm limited by my access to technology right now. With that said, I should also remind you, all of the news and prices at the bottom of this screen are relics of the past, about 2 years ago, as I am using my former computer, and I haven't gone through the process of updating because it's too much of a fucking pain. Anyways, with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. It also goes without saying that for anyone who has been trying to contact me or support or anything like that, unfortunately, we've been doing our best to get back to you as soon as possible. However, our connection here is a bit limited, so we will still do our best, of course, to get back to you. But if we have not taken care of you by today, it will certainly happen tomorrow once we're back in our usual positions, getting ready to take on the week. So, with that said, let's put the folks over here on the CrownChain application, which can be found, by the way, at app.crownchain.net. It's also free in case you happen to give a fuck. That means it literally costs $0 and you have all of this for your own perusal and your own disposal whenever you want. It's yours for life, sir, for fucking life. Anyways, with that said, I'm actually not even able to log into my account right here because I don't have all my information on this computer. Anyways, with that in mind, let's go take a look at what we're looking at on the dashboard, of which the Bitcoin dominance, once again, is kind of sticking out its sore thumb, as we do see it oscillating between about 61.5% and on the low side, we see about 60.5%, that is, so percent range right there, of which Bitcoin is right below 61% right now. Still playing to the narrative of rotational markets. I know that I do sound like a bit of a broken record by stating that, but it is very important to reflect upon because, well, that essentially drives the bias and narrative as to the general macro direction of this asset. So essentially it is, as long as Bitcoin is consolidating, in this case on the higher term timeframes between about $31,000 and 41 to the upside, then that is going to be time for the altcoins to party around, and the strong will very likely have some nice days and maybe even some nice weeks, actually, as we have seen, versus their Bitcoin Satoshi pairing. But on the whole, if Bitcoin does break out to the upside or the downside of that range, doesn't matter which way that it is, just the fact that it breaks out, likely we're going to see a shift in favor of the Bitcoin dominance going up rather than the other way around, and it won't be until the next major consolidation phase for Bitcoin, similar to what we're seeing here at the $31,000 to $41,000 region, where I'd expect altcoins to have a bit of a nice stint versus their Bitcoin Satoshi pairing. So with that in mind, moving onwards and forwards here, the fear and greed index showing an 83. We're extremely greedy once again, which you should be after going basically a 4x from 10,000 to 40,000 with our first pullback, our first long-term pullback within this region. And then on top of that, we do see that the open interest once again perking up from yesterday to today as well. And this has been a constant occurrence as Bitcoin does bounce off the bottom of the $30,000 range, headed back up to, of course, the top side of the range right here. So what does that essentially suggest? As we go into our market data tab, so we can actually look at price action overlaid with open interest, this is really playing to the narrative of reaccumulation within this region. In fact, I think it's also very important to reflect upon the quite literal fact here that we do see that open interest is actually even above what we saw when price action first had its move into the $41,000 region in early January. So what does that imply? It implies that this price action is more or less healthy, and it is supported by, well, positions being open in that same general direction. And with that in mind, it does still give me the overall long-term bias that Bitcoin still has some more upside here, as well as most the crypto market, I'd imagine, and just most of the world markets, because, well, everything fucking moves together now, doesn't it? On top of that, what else do we see? We do see that the global interest rate is actually trending down here a little bit. So we did say that it was a little bit concerning yesterday, but not in and of itself need to kind of be consistent for about, I really want to see it for like 48 hours to 72 hours. So 2 to 3 days is usually what I look for to maintain above the threshold, that being 0.1% region. That typically does denote either local highs or local lows. And in this case, as you can see, it's just a quick spike up, then coming back down to a normality right here. And that's why I have that rule in essentially not getting too gung-ho about it until it's really been up there for like a sustained period. Anyways, with with that said, we can see that all major exchanges are well below the threshold right now. And while they are creeping up, on the whole, we don't really see anything that's actionable as it is right now. So still the market is, more or less healthy. And I look at this as more or less good on the whole. Everything else that I'm looking at right now does just pretty much confirm everything that we've already talked about. So I do want to make this video a little bit more on the shorter side or a little bit more on the faster side. Again, because I am using this god-awful trackpad right here, and it really is fucking... Oh god, man, it's awful. Anyways, I should have packed a mouse is what I should have done. All right, let me just make sure that I'm recording, the microphone's working. All right, sweet, it is. So into the price action charts we go. Start off with the secondary charts today. And what do you know? Technically speaking, Bitcoin did not close above our big pivot yesterday. That would have initiated immediate continuation, but I still do like its current posturing right here. And it is still in a more or less bullish posturing with the same sort of major pivots implied from what we spoke about yesterday, and that would be this. Any sort of a closure, of course, above today's topside Krown band, which is 40,000 and about $200, and I would immediately be calling for new all-time highs, looking for a price action to move into the $40,000 region, or sorry, not 40,000, $45,000 region would be the next major target. Probably over the next, few days to a week. And then further continuation would be implied to deeper $50,000 targets over time. But for right now, we still technically have not gotten the full confirmation of this. I would say that this, at least for myself, and this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but this would be one of those scenarios where I actually do think it would be warranted to be a bit more on the aggressive side. This is just speaking personally for myself here, as I do want to be open and honest about exactly what I'm doing. Although if I'm being open and honest about exactly what I'm doing, I also did long about 33,500, so I'm not really playing this area right here to begin with, but I am happy to hold things long at the current moment and be using, we'll actually go into the lower term timeframes soon enough and kind of denote risk management points for that. But as it stands right now, if Bitcoin does either one of two things, I would say that this would be the next sort of step in that general direction. Although, again, like I said, for myself, I pretty much look at this as a formality right now. And one would be closing above the topside Krown band. Boom, that would be very likely initiating continuation of the targets that we just mentioned. And two would be even just closing above this horizontal, the same one that we had in yesterday, right around, if I can knock this one out, 39,250. Yesterday's closing price, 38,850, and the day prior right below that pivot as well. So if we can just get one closure above, I would say that would be the next, that would be the next domino in the stack, if that's even a terminology, towards looking for further continuation. On top of that, momentum also just, hey, no, trackpad, come on, play with me, no, play on me, no, just fucking work, please, for the love of God. Anyways, yes, looking at daily MACD, what do we see? We see plenty of things right here. So first and most importantly, daily MACD is not going to be crossing down anytime soon, as long as it's above 31,835. More importantly, though, I want to see what the histogram is doing, as it will continue to rise as long as we get closed above 37,750. That is the higher low currently in place on the lower term timeframes right now, as we'll denote in a second. More importantly, we do see that DMI is still having the same sort of potential signal in place, has not fired off fully just yet though. So this has been a massive tease for the last 3 days, going back to the beginning of February, or sorry, 4 days actually, going back to last week. And what I really want to see here is I want to see two things specifically. I want to see the ADX continue to strengthen, which technically speaking it is, still has a positive slope above the threshold. All of those conditions are met, good. But most importantly, I want to see the DMI plus get a positive slope as well. Right now, it is dangled to the downside. So if we get both of those two things, I imagine that would be very likely accompanied by closing above the topside Krown band as well. And then we could talk about price action towards the moon. No, we're already on the fucking moon. Guys, this is crazy. Why are people talking about the fucking moon when we've already gone, or Bitcoin, more importantly, has already gone from $10,000 to $40,000. This is insanity. This is crazy. This is also cryptocurrency land, and that is why we're all here, because we're a little bit deranged looking at fucking magic net money that's basically used for just about nothing. I know that that's a bit of hyperbole, yes, before people in the comments get pissed off, but hey, just let me make a goddamn point right now. Look, you can't go to fucking Sevi's and buy shit with your Bitcoin, sir, but you can with your doggy coins, so, or you can probably buy a Tesla with it soon enough. Anyways, you gotta fucking love this market, man. The most revered people in this market, Elon Musk, Tyler, and the other Winklevoss guy, sorry, the twins, those guys, they have a chance to really put Bitcoin in the public lexicon. And what do? They pump up doggy coin. So it's like, Jesus Christ, man. It's like on one hand, I want this space to be taken seriously. On the other hand, I love memes. And you know what meme I love the most? Fucking doggy coins. Isn't that great, Mia Khalifa? Show me your doggy style coin, you bitch. Sorry, you beautiful. I mean that as a complete term of endearment, by the way. She's a very lovely, very talented, extremely talented, I should say, and I've been studying for a long time. Anyways, Elsa thinks that's funny. Ha ha ha. Yeah, keep on laughing it up, you fucking... Just kidding. All right, so over here onto these charts. Let's go check this out. Bitcoin did put in that hidden bullish divergence that we spoke about yesterday, but not from the level that I actually spoke about yesterday, which is kind of funny. Albeit we did come down to the next relevant horizontal, and in hindsight, nice little scalp opportunity right there. Yes, hidden bullish divergence now is fully confirmed, as we do see Caretaker's RSI, given it on the, well, I guess this was yesterday's like half day tick for myself, so very early morning for you Americans out there. And I would be looking for this one to put price action back up towards $40,000 plus, as we do see this play out. On top of that, we do see that 4-hour Stokes going to be doing what? Well, currently they are coming down right now. However, you will see that they will naturally shift back onto the upside on the next tick with any sort of a closure above $41,400. Now, keep in mind that we do have this trend line coming in all the way from back on over here. And I would be saying that, you know, maybe not the next tick, but the tick after that, we probably do test this area right here. And this, to me, is a very clear and obvious bullish reset. Why do I say that? We'll look at the histogram right here. Histogram getting obviously negative, and even putting in a little bit of hidden bullish divergence there as well, or just regular divergence, depending upon how you look at histogram divergence to begin with. But between this point and this point, printing lower lows on the histogram, whereas price action putting in higher lows. Again, this accompanied by RSI, both kind of momentum oscillators, although Stokes a little bit more speaking towards a short-term ranging action. In comparison, this would be a good signal that, yes, I do believe that Bitcoin very likely does come back up towards $40,000 plus, and that will, as we looked at earlier, potentially set it up for a closure above those critical levels, thus initiating targets much deeper into the $40,000 region, of which the first major target that it would have would be based off of the 1.272 and the 1.414 Fibonacci extension right here, between about 43,750 and 45,250 respectfully. Now, I would be looking for price action to actually kind of range there for a little bit of time during that. And then on top of that, I would be looking for a breakout after, after a little bit of a short-term consolidation above the 414 to our next set of targets, which would be not really the 2-spot extension. This one sometimes gets some play, but not really, to be honest with you. And then of course the 618 back here is the big one. So that's about $58,000. You can even see a move onto the 3-spot extension, which is in the $62,000 range. So essentially what I'd be saying is that yes, if Bitcoin does initiate that move, I would be looking for ultimately price action to find its way to about 58,000 to 62,000 in a range there over time. Not on the same hourly dildo, not on the same fucking 5-minute dildo, for the love of God, but yes, over time. Of course, there could be a major trap that would usually be at your 414 right here. Sorry, I just hit the mic. I don't mean to bust up your fucking eardrums more than my raspy Latvian voice already does. But what I mean by this is, typically speaking, when you do see breakouts out of a range like this, while I think that this still looks more or less healthy on the whole, if you are going to have a fake out, that's typically where it does come from. So I would caution against that area, again, but fake outs would not even be confirmed until Bitcoin comes back down below the prior resolution point. So in this case, that would be like about $40,000. So with that in mind, again, more or less, I do like how things are operating right here. And if we're looking at it from not momentum oscillator perspective, that is good. But if we're looking at it just from a moving average perspective, getting the longer term trend, we did see the 10 simple cross the upside of the 21 exponential moving average right here. That does set in a more or less of a trending bias on the daily here for the short and medium term. I did upload a video on this. I believe it was in the Caretaker's anticipated moving average cross video, of which you can actually get the indicator for yourself. I haven't been using it here because, like I said, I am on my other computer, but once I get back to my main battle station, you'll be seeing a lot more because, it's pretty fucking useful for these sorts of things. Anyways, okay, all right, so what do I want to get back? Let's go back to the 4-hour. Anything on the 4-hour I want to talk about? Increasing HVP while price action puts in a higher low, momentum shifting back onto the upside, accompanied by hidden bullish divergence. Yep, I'd be looking for that to pop back up towards $40,000 to $41,000, anywhere in that range there. A little bit above $40,000, so about like $40,500 to $41,000, rather likely. Same thing on the 3-hour, so we see these in unison. Once again, we do see same thing on 3-hour Stokes right here. Same shitola sandwich. and onto the buy hourly we go. And buy hourly is actually already turning, so obviously we want to see the lower term timeframes precipitate the higher term timeframes in relation to each other, and that would be your 2 hour already turning, 3 and 4 hour to come. Same sort of hidden bullish divergence right here, and I do like that. So yes, all lower term timeframes thus far showing some upside. And here's your hourly, same shit, even had regular bullish divergence off the lows, so I do like that as well. And already way the fuck up there, so looking good as it increases the momentum drive. On top of that, so sorry, to kind of wrap up the lower term timeframes, yep, I'd be looking for a move back up a little bit, anywhere between about 40 and 41,000 bucks, probably like 40,500 to 41,000 bucks, and then that sets it up for the daily closure, which can have those greater targets in mind. So again, one thing before the next, like fucking dominoes, right? We got to get through the first 1 through 4 hours, and then set it up for the daily, then go there, blah 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 blah, and then we have some more Jesus toast to look at. All right, that's what you weren't expecting, but it's true. It's all a bunch of fucking Jesus toast. But as long as this Jesus toast can bring you some well, I was gonna say greenbacks, but as long as it brings you some more magic and money, I guess that's good. That is good, sir. That is very good. Anyways, 12-hour Stokes still looking good up over here. Will remain to the upside as long as you're above $37,000. 12-hour RSI. I want to see this next tick here. Obviously, I'm not going to be around for this, unfortunately. But I really want to see it remain in the bullish control zone. If it does, I look at that as the next obvious signal that we are going to go back into the deeper bullish control zone and really start to play out this very constructive behavior here that we have been seeing over the last, I guess, like 5 months now. Yeah, going all the way back. Jesus Christ, yeah, all the way back on over here. So looking good there, at least for now. But of course, I won't be able to look at that one until tomorrow, unfortunately. But so far, so good. And putting in another base of price action right around the 10 symbol. Sorry, there's one thing I forgot to do on the lower term timeframes. Let's go back on over here. Let's put on our drawing tools. Let's take all this nonsense off and just look at straight up price action, motherfucker. All right, so first and foremost, while I do have a short-term upside bias here, and well, by extension, long-term upside bias as well, what I would be looking at is the short-term pivot from yesterday's video. That is a $38,000 region right here. If Bitcoin comes back down and takes this area out by closing at the very least a 2-hour dildo below it, but especially a 4-hour would do it for me. I would look for a greater retracement all the way back to our prior breakout zone at 34,500 that we spoke about, I think it was early last week. So with that in mind, as long as that condition is met, as long as that condition is not met, meaning that Bitcoin doesn't break this area right here, I am generally bullish on basically all time frames under the sun. That could be taken very terribly though. However, if this area gets broken right here, then of course still same thing as what we spoke about yesterday in like the week prior, level by level, I'd be looking for another move back down somewhere around about 34.5. Probably a small bounce implied there. If this yield level does fail, then I'll look for a full-on retrace all the way back down to 31,500 to 32,000 bucks. And of course, I should always overlay conditions for getting long-term and macro bearish. If Bitcoin does close a daily doodle below the 55 exponential moving average right here, which is actually all the way up at the 236, and on price action that's about 32,000 bucks, or takes out the last low just by wicking below it, then yes, I would still be looking for that move down to 23,000 to 24,000 bucks. Do I think that's very likely right here? No, but of course, it is good to have a plan even for things that you think are not very likely to happen because, well, if you've been trading shit like oil, then you know what cannot happen is always what does happen, actually. Anyways, putting it back on over here. Daily, what are we looking at as far as momentum oscillators go? Still looking healthy, still looking good, still looking nice and girthy on the daily Stokes. Stoke Index, what about daily RSI? Back in the bullish control zone here as well. I do like this, again, very constructive read, even better than the 12-hour, actually going all the way back towards this area right here. This is going all the way back to like July, August of this year. I really do like that, and especially ever since September it was, I believe, on this spike low. Yes, sorry, this is actually more like March, my bad. A little bit off there. Anyways, my point is that yes, this is looking very fucking good right here, and I would essentially be having a bullish bias, for lack of a better term. The Boolahs back at it. 2-day, we just got a fresh tick today, and what do you know? 2-day fresh cross to the upside on Stoke Index. And also playing out that hidden bullish divergence on 2-day RSI. So we did identify this a few ticks ago. So I think it was like middle of last week, and this is like now just starting to play out. So I just want to kind of reflect upon this for a second once again. For the people who have been following up on this channel, understand that when you do see something on a 2-day signal like you're seeing right here, obviously it takes time to play out, and I would argue, and I would argue, I wouldn't just argue, I'd say straight out, flat out, hey, this is still going, this is still in motion. So if you're playing a 2-day, have a 2-day fucking schedule. Don't play a 2-day goddamn signal and then go down to the 5-minute fucking time frame and then say, Krown, why aren't we rallying? Hey, fuckface, you're on the wrong goddamn time frame, you ignorant fuck. Sorry, much love, but I say that with complete reverence. Seriously though, it is very enlightening to see what I would imagine like maybe less experienced people are like thinking in these sort of situations. No, the 5-minute time frame is not my preferred time frame on Bitcoin, for the love of God. But hey, I will tell you straight up, when I traded traditional markets, I made my living on the 5 and 15 minute. I made my fucking living on those time frames. If I could do it on Bitcoin, I would. And I'm not saying that you can't do it on Bitcoin. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there making shit tons of money trading these lower term time frames. I would just argue that it would be probably a better use of opportunity cost and just your time management to be looking at higher term time frames, like a 4-hour and beyond. I look at a 4-hour as even a lower term time frame for Bitcoin, because remember, Bitcoin trades 24/7, 365. Traditional markets trade 5 days a week for 6.5 hours of those days. Do you think a 5-minute in traditional land is the same thing as a 5-minute in Bitcoin? Yes, because magic. No. Anyways, this is still looking good right here. I still look for this play out at the top, no less at the top side of a fucking range as momentum also just turned back up. Look, I could just show you this chart right here and just say, hey, go home, game over. It's very likely to go up. There you go. What about 3-day? I think we're closing this one tonight. Gonna have a chance to do something rather similar as well. This will be confirmed with any sort of a cross above 41,500, by the way. And again, if you're wondering why I'm using the Stoke Momentum Index, it's because I do like it for more trending markets, especially on the higher term timeframes in the macro. Now, it doesn't mean that the past ones that I was using from KVDB were not efficacious in their own way. They are. They're just better for more ranging price action, which we were doing for a while here, but now as Bitcoin once again hints towards a breakout of the top side of the range, time to switch things up a bit. Very, very minute changes, by the way, very, very minute, but I figured might as well play around with the new indicator for a bit. Looking at 3-day right here, what do we see? 3-day, same thing, having the hidden bullish divergence confirmed late in January, now just playing out after the first week or so of February. And again, this is at the top side of the range already. To me, this is typically what I see in my experience as a signature before an actual breakout of the range. And I think the weekly is just the most obvious one here as well. Looking very, very good, actually. I think this one even looks better on the Trollinger Band chart over here, of which I'd like to bring that up. Let's see. Hey, hide my damn drawings. And yes, continuation to mega targets implied with any sort of closure above the top side Trollinger Band. That actually already take it to $45,000. And, you know, I'd feel quite confident after that saying, hey, probably going to 58 to 62 fucking $1,000, as crazy as that sounds, turning into a goddamn moon boy. But then again, I don't think I'm moonish enough. Like, I'm never bullish enough from the bulls, and I'm never bearish enough for the bears, because there seems to be some sort of like arms race between very well-intentioned YouTubers who just want to call out like the most egregious price targets. It's like people started off by saying 40,000 and that's good. That was a few months ago. They started saying, no man, 100,000, nothing less, nothing more. 100,000, we're going. Then it was 250,000. Then it was 500,000. Now it's $1 million. I've seen price fucking targets for like Ethereum at $1 million. I mean, that look, like, I don't know how much these people actually believe in what they're saying. Like, you can't really fault someone with good intentions, but you should fault someone with bad intentions. And it's like, all right, why don't you show me how the fuck you're getting that number, ass face? Just kidding. I'm sure they're lovely people. Anyways, what are we looking at right here? As far as everything else goes, I mean, we haven't really gotten anything too different on the weekly from this last closure. 3-day, however, is very interesting to me. 3-day DMI ADX is given a clear signal right here. I would say that this one is pretty much going to lift off anyways. Looking at 3-day MACD, I want to see this fully confirmed as well above 38,376. That, again, is coming later tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Any sort of a closure basically above $40,000, and that would be a damn good signal. This is ready for more, sir. Ready for more. Okay, all right. How long is this video already? This video is way too long. In fact, let's go check out Mr. Buterol for some bullshit nonsense. Maybe just really quickly here, because I don't think it's as interesting right now. And I need to get the new ticker for Ethereum futures, although it's not going to be too useful in its current state. Let's see. Okay, so 3 days closing today. Is that correct? Yes, that is indeed correct. Any sort of a closure above the topside Krown band, once again, that would be 1,800, and I'd still be holding on to my targets about, $2,000 plus. ADX DMI is maybe going to give us a positive signal today on closure. Very, very close there. What about the daily? Daily? There we go. Same thing, but not quite there, actually. You know what? Let's actually do a little bit of let's go a little bit of the minutia here, just out of curiosity, because usually this is a bit of a sell the event type thing, unless if Bitcoin can really pick it up. But looking at the weekly closure for Ethereum, I'm not bearish on this. If it wants to pull back down to like 1475 or 1500, as we said yesterday, which we kind of already got, actually, come to think of it, I think yesterday we did have a nice pullback down around those levels. Actually, yes. Oh my God, yeah, actually exactly to that level. Just about right below $1,500. I'd look at that as an opportunity. I'm bullish on this. I'm very likely going to make new all-time highs this week, probably Bitcoin as well. This is a very similar signature to what we saw at Bitcoin as well when Bitcoin was consolidating below its prior all-time high. This would be like your $20,000 tick right here. You can see 1, 2, 3, big green dildo on week number 4, and then continuation. Bitcoin, very similar action from its $20,000 high right here. You can see 1, 2, 3 weeks of consolidation, then boom, girthy green dildos all the way up for like a 2x. So is Ethereum, more or less likely to go up from here. I would say still more likely to go up from here, actually. It looks like this CME future debut, at least for right now, I would not say is like the high, so to speak, or at least I want to see something more. Ethereum, Bitcoin, what do we see right here? Looking very good, consolidated at a high level. Does it come back down and play off the just around 4 million Satoshi backfill right there? Perhaps yes. I'd look at that as an opportunity once again. This I would still be very much bullish on long term. Might even get a golden cross on the weekly, which would be rather powerful, seeing as the daily golden cross has been carrying us up all the way from this area here, just below 3,000, or sorry, not 3, but 3 million Satoshis, all the way up to almost 4, or past 4.5 million Satoshis. So pretty damn good right there. Looks like it wants to try to set in a higher low right here. And if it can, well, then I'll be further bullish on it more immediately. But as it is right now, we actually do have competing bearish divergence, although easy part of that move's already played out. So what do you do? I think you just watch Bitcoin right now. I think that's the most wise thing to do, actually. Just perusing around the different time frames. A little bit of regular bullish divergence right there. I wouldn't be surprised if it does try to set in a higher low somewhere around this 4 million Satoshi marker and then continue onwards and upwards. But keep in mind, if Bitcoin starts rolling here, especially above $41,000, very unlikely altcoins will be able to keep up with their Bitcoin pairing. Okay, let's go check out traditional markets, seeing as they're open today. Just really quick, we said new all-time highs coming in this week for NASDAQ and SPY, and what do you fucking know? New all-time highs. The market that never goes down, my friends. The market that never goes down. Looking at this right here, I still stick with my next target of 13,825. I'm not calling that as like a mega high or anything, just like the next short-term target, or sorry, short-term, medium-term target, yes. And then we can talk about higher targets than that if once that one's met. But for right now, looking like it's just stair-stepping its way upwards and onwards here. So yes, I'd be looking for this one to extend a little bit further. What about this? SPY futures over here. Same thing, new all-time highs. What do you fucking know? Craziness. I'd still be looking at 39.25 as the next short-term target, and then probably plays out a little bit of a pullback from there, and then we want to see it after that in real time. Anything else I want to do while we're here? If altcoins, go fuck yourself. How about no? Yeah, I think that's just about it, actually. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Sanctum. I wish I actually did that earlier. I'll probably do it again tomorrow as well. Sanctum calling out one of the major fibs for Bitcoin that's actually been having some pretty damn good results recently. The 1.13 extension. So maybe I'll save that for tomorrow, actually. Sanctum, stay tuned, sir. Stay tuned, because actually I've been looking at that a little bit more in my free time while I've been out here, and you definitely have something with it. So I do want to show that a little bit, and I think that'll be a good place to bring this video to a stop. I won't do any wrap-ups today. Basically, I am bullish on Bitcoin as long as it's above about $38,000. If on the short-term timeframes, I'm looking for another retest of $40,500 to $41,000. Any sort of a daily closure today especially above the topside trend band over here, would be good for continuation of about $45,000 and beyond into the deeper $50,000 region. Sorry, and that would be above, I mean, it depends how conservative you are, but just above $40,000 would very likely do it above the topside trend band, alongside a bullish signal on the DMI ADX and continuation on the MACD histogram here. Or if we just close above this pivot right here, I mean, to me, this is more or less for formality, but hey, if you do want to be a little more conservative, I'd say 39,300 would be the magical number. But for right now, all lower term timeframes playing out hidden bullish divergence, I would look for that to give Bitcoin another try, about $40,000. Then I want to see where the daily closes. If it closes above those relevant pivots, then I would generally target the middle of the $45,000 region, then likely continuation after a little bit of a short-term consolidation there. With that said, I do want to wish you the best in this non-financial advice video. And then with that said, I will be traveling a good amount of today back in the main battle station tomorrow, and we will be back to business as usual. So with that said, wish you the best once again. Take care, and until next time.